Hello everyone, my name is Mayo Yan. I am the Red Logicalist, and this is the Logicalist's Guide to Shiny Day Live. Sorry about the videos not being recorded lately. I've been busy. First week I went to Anaheim to play in the final Luck and Logic English regionals. I did end up winning, so I'll be going to Japan and doing Worlds. Hopefully I'll be recording while I'm there, so that'll be fun to post up. But yeah, back to Japanese format. I'm gonna go over the cards in Shiny Day Live. There's gonna be two videos, unless this is too long, and then I'll be splitting it in half, but that's another thing if that happens. I'll be going over, in the first video anyway, I'll be going over the set as just direct support, because I haven't really looked at many of the cards. I've seen some card of the days, but not a lot of it. And I'll be going over each card, first look at it, first thoughts, and how it works in the deck that it's built in. So if it's a Nina card, it'll be for Nina, that sort of thing. I'm not going to talk about the Sun and the Star decks until the next video, which will hopefully be up next week. But yeah, anyway, let's get straight onto it. It won't be as prepared as normal because I didn't really have time to do that. It'll be pretty makeshift, and you'll see what I mean because I'll be recording straight from the Heart of the Cards website rather than just on the reference cards that Heart of the Cards puts out, so hopefully it's not too bad. But yeah, let's get into it. Evangel Call Nina. So this is the first card in the set. When this member enters the field, you may pay the cost. If so, choose a Paradox in your level zone and put it face up to the Paradox zone. Then if a card is put into the Paradox zone this way, put the top card of your deck face up into the level zone. And then EX Soul 3 continuous. All your Nina and Sun gain 2 aura. Then if your T rank is 5 or higher, they additionally gain another aura. T rank is a new thing introduced in Shiny Day Live. Basically what it counts is the number of times you trance in a game. So every time you trance, your T rank goes up 1. So it awards you for trancing a lot more in a game. This card's pretty good. The +2 aura continuously is really good because on defense it works, on offense it works, so it's very strong in that regard. But if your opponent is able to play around it with power and reducing, it's fine. Like they basically have to spend the card or else they're not going to win an aura battle, which is really tough against a lot of the other yellow decks. Like Tamaki will have trouble dealing with stuff like this, so that's relevant. The first ability is pretty nice. It's not great, but basically it makes it so that when it comes in play, you're automatically in aura battle without having to use a limit. So that's really strong. I can see this going into Nina decks pretty easily. So let's go straight on to the next card. Happy but Embarrassed Senna. Hopefully the formatting didn't die. I had to scroll, but it should be fine. When this member enters the field, if you have 3 or more Senna and Star, choose one of your members and that member gains 2k. Then if your T rank is 3 or higher, a member gains another 2k. That's fine. It's a level 1, so that's actually pretty good. Like level 1 on play, give 2k and possibly another 2k in the late game is really strong. And the fact that this says Senna or Star, like aside from the Star deck, you could now splash things with that trait if you want certain abilities. Like you could splash this in another character deck that benefits off Star, and it could be just fine. Because you choose any of your members, it doesn't have to be a Senna or a Star. And then you pay 1, drop this member. If your T rank is 5 or higher, you search your deck for a Senna or Star that isn't this, deploy it, so put it straight into play, and then you shuffle your deck. This card's really good for the Senna deck. It immediately sets up what you need, and if you do use Senna's Star Covenanter, you can basically replace this with the Foreigner for 1 stock, and being able to search your deck for the unit is really strong. You can even like do some interesting things like I guess you can't really get to T rank 5 easily by level 3, but you might be able to with some of the stuff. Like there are plus trance limits, so stuff like that maybe you can like early play something, but it won't be too relevant. But this does have a really good use. The 2k power is hindering it, but aside from that, this is pretty fine. Wild Song Senna. Let's see, no other abilities, just an EX Soul 3 on a level 4. When this member enters the field, if you have 4 or more Senna and Star for the turn, this member gains the ability. When it wins a battle, you choose one of your opponent's member with 0 soul, and your opponent puts on the bottom of his or her deck. So this is Senna's first real catch-up mechanic. Her other catch-up mechanic is Giselle based. Not a good card. It's actually okay, but it's not great. But yeah, this one's pretty cool. So basically what it means is that if you have almost a full board, or maybe even a full board, you can kill any extra member by bottom decking it, which can be better. Like against Magico, you want the stuff in the stock or the drop, and this thing basically sending it straight to the bottom deck hinders a lot. It helps some other decks that might want to just trance into those targets, but this thing's catch-up mechanic is very strong. Obviously the way around this is just to fight and defense, but this fight and defend against that battle. But if it goes through, which it normally will, since you can win a battle against anything, it's really good. I don't think the 4-unit restriction is really that hard, especially in a Senna deck where you're spamming your board out. And with Blink, with the Blink ability Senna has to blink units, you can blink units that call more units, so it's really easy to plus. Next is Wild Song Senna again for some. Oh right, special rarity. Let's go on to Shining Azure Dragon Senna. TC Senna or Star. So yeah, Star's got a TC too, which was pretty, like, you should see that coming. But let's keep going. EX Soul 1. Rest this member in Digicard. Search your deck for up to 1 level X or lower Senna or Star. Deploy it. Shuffle your deck. X is the number of cards in your level zone. Basically, this just says tap this and turn any card in your hand into a member that you need. So yeah, this is fine. It goes straight into the Senna decks. I think this is, like, her other TCs that she got in the last set are okay, but they're not great. Like, this is very strong for the deck. Different rarity version of it. Cheers Getting Louder. Amor. Amor is Nina's Covenanter by I'm right about that. I might be wrong. But yeah. Yeah, Covenant, Nina, or Sun. So when you trance into a Nina or Sun, you can pay the cost, which is resting a card in your level zone, and you draw to ditch one. It's fun. It's the same thing as if you rested just to draw one, except you get more choices. You dig deeper. This also has Vanguard. When it enters a field, if you have 2 or more Suns, you may choose one of your opponent's level 1 members, return to the hand. Vanguard, remember, your opponent needs to have 6 Unbroken Gates. I don't like the restriction on this Vanguard. It's the same issue with the Somerset a few years back, or I guess like the first season extra booster where they had the summer deck. But yeah, you need to have more Suns in the Nina deck. You won't always have that. You generally shouldn't have that, but I don't know, it could be helpful, but you're gonna be using Nina's other Vanguards more than this. But the Covenant's pretty nice on this card. Oops. Too many double rarity cards in the set. Love for Everyone Nina. Pay 2. Not pay 2, level 2. When your Nina or Sun wins a battle, choose a card in your level zone standard. Automatic ability, not once per turn. Amazing, goes straight into the Nina deck. Issue with this card is its 4k power, which means a lot of level 1s can kill it, but it's still a good card to have regardless. I think the best example of a current card that we have that is on this level is the Ashley. The Ashley that's Tritemy from, I believe, the 4th set. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. And she basically let you pay 1 to replace a logic definition, so a card you put from your hand into the logic definition, and then RNG 1 from the top of your deck into the battle zone. It's basically that level, but this one requires you to win the battle, but you get to stand cards in your level zone. So it makes it so that even if your opponent passes priority as the defender, you can rest plus 5k power or plus 2 limit just to filter out your hand. Changing into Paradox is probably not a good idea because you're using a limit to do that, and then your opponent might want to just fight because you're a limit behind now. And then it has a startup ability, rest a card in your level zone, choose one of your Nina or Sun. That member gains 2 aura for the turn. very, very strong in the Nina decks. It can help a lot with what you need. Getting extra aura, and the fact that this isn't EX soul restricted is really useful. Same card. That's gonna happen a lot. In the Limelight, Nina. So her level 1, 4k power. When this enters the field, if you have 3 or more Sun or Nina, choose one of your Nina or Sun, and it gains 1 aura for the turn. Then if your T rank is 3 or higher, that member additionally gains 1 aura for the turn. Nina's Covenanters are probably gonna take over the place of this card in the deck. If you want more Suns, I guess you could play it, but the level 4 does a pretty good job of this, and you don't really need that additional aura really early. So yeah, that's my take on it anyway. Keep going. Refined Empress Empress Wear Linlin. She is Senna's Covenanter. If the deployed unit is Senna or Star, Covenant with Senna or Star, you choose one of your Senna or Star and then blink step it, so blink it. That's really, really strong. Right now, Senna's best blink is her level 3, that when it's trans into, you blink. And then this also has the same Vanguard ability as the other one, but this thing for the Covenant is absolutely worth it in the Senna decks. I can see this being a very strong addition. Yeah. There's not too much to say about this card. It's just good for the Senna decks. Onto the yellow tactics. Drop a member not in battle as an auto ability. That when it's placed on the battle zone, you pay the cost. And then if you do, your member in battle gains +4 aura. That ability alone is on the par of Megiko's Paradox from the last set, which is when you play the Paradox, you can sack a member not in battle to give your battling Megiko +2 aura. This is obviously a tactics, so it gives more. And this doesn't change into aura battle, obviously, but yeah. And then this ability only activates in your drop zone. Pay 1 when your member enters the field via the effect of your Star, specifically Star. You can pay cost. If you do, return this tactics from your drop zone to your hand. That is real good. Okay, so there are a lot of stars that make things enter the field. Like Senna's Blink Step works for stuff like that, and Megiko's Revival abilities work like that. So you can play this in, since it's yellow, you probably want to be playing this in those decks, but playing this in the Senna deck is really good, because if you Covenant with the level 1 Foreigner that blinks, since it's Star trait, it does activate that ability, and it will let you pay 1 to return this to your hand. This card is very strong. I can see it being used really well. So yeah, I really hope more tactics like this are playable in their original decks and not just Star. Like, I can see this being very good. Even just for the first ability is fine. The second ability is just a bonus. Card. Happiness Ending. All your Sun gain. Okay, I'm gonna skip these. They have really interesting abilities, but I think it'll be more relevant for the Sun and Star decks when we go over that, because their continuous ability only gives the Sun and Star. It does give more than normal, but and it has a really interesting ability, I'm not gonna lie, but I just don't want to go over things that don't work as well in their original decks. Rose-colored stage Lion. So we're on to red now. TC Lion or Sun. EX Soul 1. Start up, rest this member and purge a card from your drop zone. Choose one of your Lion or Sun. That member gains 3k power for the turn, and if your T rank is 5 or higher, choose up to 1 member in your purge zone, return to your hand. This is insane. I had not seen this card. It's level 3 AK. That's base. That's fine. It's not above par. It's not below par. And this lets you give a Lion 3k for the cost of resting this, which generally should be fine, and purging a card from your drop zone, which you want to do anyway. You want to be purging Lions from your drop zone, but if you really need to, you can purge something else. But what this lets you do is that if you're at the late game where your T rank is 5 or higher, you get to grab back members from your purge. It doesn't say Lion members, so you can grab back in the Lion deck specifically, you get to grab back the foreigners that you accidentally purge. This doesn't fix you to grab back paradoxes that you accidentally purged or tactics, but this ability is really strong for the Lion deck, and I will happily add it to the deck that I have for Lion. Dress up Magico. Level 1 Magico. Pay 1 when this member destroys an opponent's gate. I really dislike level 1s that have this ability, because yeah, it's good to have a level 1 just on the board to do that sort of thing, but I don't always have it, and I usually want to keep these in hand at the risk of them dying from abilities or just being attacked, because I want to make sure I can trance next turn. Let's keep going, because I don't actually remember what this card does. I saw it and I love the art because the My Logicalist has the same art, but let's keep going. You may pay the cost, which is 1. If you do, choose one of your other members, drop it. Then if the member if a member is dropped by this effect, choose level X or lower Magico or star in your drop zone that isn't the same member dropped from this effect. It can be the same name, just not the exact same character that you killed, and deploy it to a vacant circle. X is the level of the member dropped by this effect. This is a double R. I do not think this deserves to be a double R. It's fine, where you pay 1, kill something, revive something of the same level or lower, which is fine, but I really wish this did an actual plus ability. Sure, you can replace like a level 3 that already attacked with another level 3, or like basically what this lets you do is that you can only have 3 units on board, 2 units and this, and still break the required number of gates that you want to be breaking that turn by getting all 4 attacks, which is good, but I really like it goes in just because Magico's level 1s are generally not great. Like in my deck, I play the New Covenant, which is insane, the promo that sacks itself to -1 aura, which is fine, and then I play the old Covenant, which was pay 2, kill a stock, salvage 1, which I didn't really like, but sometimes it's relevant. That probably gets replaced with this just because this has a really relevant ability, but the 3k does hinder it, and I'm not a fan of level 1s that have to break gates, even though they're generally the ones that should be breaking gates, but I usually use level 2s. Anyway, going off on a tangent, this card's good, it's fine, but I'm not a huge fan, even though it goes straight into the Magico deck. Timid Appeals Magico. Rare for Magico, level 3, 7k, so it is below par by 1k. Par for me is basically the most common, often power. Like, if your opponent has a 7k with no soul, it won't be hitting 8ks, which are more common than 7ks. And 9ks are less common, but more powerful because of that power. Like Magico has a 9k level 3, which is why I love using that card, in addition to her last set level 3, which is just broken. Auto ability: when this member enters the field via the effect or ability of your Magico or star, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose a level X or lower Magico or star in your drop zone, deploy it, X the number of cards in your level zone. So when you call this from anywhere, can be from the drop zone, field, blanket, you pay 2 and summon something. This is fine, I can see the same playing, but I'm not a huge fan of this in the Magico deck. Like, if you do, like, the only thing that really revives it in the Magico deck specifically is the level 1 Covenant, and I think that's it. I might be wrong, and I shouldn't be wrong because it's Magico, but I'm an idiot sometimes. But yeah, like, this card's fine. I don't really like the cost. The 2 is a lot. Startup ability: drop one of your Magico or star that isn't this. Choose one of your opponent's member. That member gets -2k for the turn. That's fine. I don't think this is worth having a 7k power unit on your board. I'd rather just keep the set 1 9k in the Magico deck. I'll test it, but I don't really enjoy it over Magico's other choices for level 3. Peppy Lion, level 1, Lion, 4k, Covenant, no other ability. Pay 1 when you trance into a Lion or Sun, pay the cost. If so, choose up to 1 card in your drop zone, purge it, choose one of your Lion or Star, or Sun, rather. And for the turn, give that member, when this member wins a battle, choose up to 1 card in your purge zone, return your hand. This is insane and fixes the problem that I had with the double R Lion. So yeah, basically what this does is you pay 1, purge something, which can be anything. It can be either another line that you need or a card that you want to grab with this ability it gives, whereas that when it wins battle, you just grab any card in your purge zone. This fixes grabbing paradoxes that you accidentally purge, or even purging a paradox with the first half of the ability. Like, that's really good plus, actually. I very much like this. It's not a straight up plus because you have to win the battle, but it's still strong. Incoherent Action Lion, level 4 common, logic drive, pay 3. Ooh, Lion gets another logic drive. Choose a card and drop some, purge it. Choose all of your members that share either a card name or trait with the card purge via this effect, and those members gain 5k for the turn. Then if your T rank is 5 or higher, draw a card. It's fine. Basically, you purge a lion, give all your lions 5k, and you might draw a card. That's fine. Her other finishers at level 4 are just better, but that's perfectly fine. I don't have much to say about that. Sudden solo part, Magico. What's a flavor or text on? I can't sing by myself. God, I love you, Magico. When this enters the field via the effect or ability of your Magico or star, choose one of your opponent's members, and that member gets minus 2k for the turn. Then if your T rank is 3 or higher, drop the top card of your opponent's stock. Nope. Level 2 7k, sure, but her other units are better because her level 2s generally want to be doing stuff when they're sacrificed or when they have abilities that sacrifice themselves or other cards. This thing, when it's basically revived in the Magico deck, because that's really the only way to get it out, to use its ability, you most likely will kill a stock and then minus 2k, but the level 2 7k that exists right now is just when it comes into play from the drop zone, you give minus 2k. This replaces that if you're playing it, just because this has an additional ability tacked on. But like, the dropping the stock is really irrelevant. Maybe you could play it as a 2-up just to replace that level 2 from the last set, but I'd rather just play the level 2 that kills a stock when it's sacrificed, and then if your opponent has 1 or less, draw a card. 7k can be relevant though. That's generally the power for level 2s. Centigrace Rosa. This is Lion's Covenanter. Purge the top card of your deck as an auto ability when it enters the field or is placed into the purge zone, which is pretty interesting. You may pay the cost if you do choose one of your Lion or Sun, and that member gains 2k power. Then if your T rank is 3 or higher, additionally give the ability that when it wins a battle, choose up to 1 member in your purge zone, put it on top of your deck. You can throw this back on top of your deck, which fixes your purge zone. You can also set up your level boosts for the next battle or the next turn. Yeah, this card's great. It's actually very playable in the Lion deck. How much time are we at? We're at 23. Yeah, we can try and quickly go through the rest of the cards. I want to keep it under 40 if possible. Singing God of Death, Thanatos. Ability is only active in your drop zone on a level 1 4k foreigner, Magico's Covenanter. Pay 2 when your other member enters the field via the ability of your Magico or star. You may pay the cost if you do deploy this member from your drop zone to a vacant circle. Magico's foreigners right now are, if you're going with the Japanese format where they play 10 to 12 foreigners, it's 4 Huang Huang because it draws you 2, 4 Thanatos from the last set because it draws you a card, or Vanguards, and Vanguards, so that's just an auto glue, and then 2 to 4 Kitamaru, which is just when it revives from the drop zone on a 5k unit, kill a stock, which the stock, like I said, is generally irrelevant. Sometimes it can matter, but it was mainly there as another foreigner because her old foreigners are just not that good. Like, even in English, since I've been playing Magico for English, preparing for Worlds, the only actual Magico foreigner I play is Huang Huang, and my other foreigner is Salt, just because it's a good card, and Magico's other foreigners are not worth playing just to get Covenants off. Just because Magico's Covenants in English aren't that great either. It's just the pay 2, really, and maybe Witch, but but yeah, I really like this card. It'll probably replace Kitamaru or be a 2-2 with Kitamaru. if you're playing 12 foreigners, just because if you have extra stock, which Mejico does have these days in the Japanese deck, she can just revive and give you another plus for the cost of 2, which is perfectly fine. And if you really need to, it's a foreigner that you can trance with. Special Duet. This ability is only active in your hand, so it's another one of these startup ability tactics. They do have 5k power, so worst case scenario, you throw it into Logic Definition as a plus 5k power. Pay 1, ditch this tactics. Choose up to 2 cards in your drop zone, purge them. Choose one of your members, and for the turn, give it. When this member wins a battle, choose up to 1 member in your purge zone, return it to your hand, and then if this member is Sun, choose a card in your level zone and stand it. Second ability is largely irrelevant. The main purpose for this card is that first ability where you can grab a card. Like even in the Mejico deck, worst case scenario, you pay 1, ditch this, purge 2, and then you can grab 1 back when you win a battle. But if you're not getting the full value for this, where you're standing the level zone, it's probably not worth playing, because Mejico can't even do that because she's star, but Lion can do that, and it purges cards for Lion too, so that's fine. Maybe Lion's 25 purge might be playable. No, I'm thinking too much. Thanatos is on the card, so that's pretty cute. Let's go to green. Best time Yayoi. When this member wins a battle, stock open X. X is the number of your Sun. This is good because worst case scenario, this stock open 1. And if the rest of her cards are good, which I really hope they are, stock opens a lot more. I can see this card being played already. EX Soul 3. Auto ability, stock close 5. When this member wins a battle while attacking, you pay the cost. If you so destroy the gate. Whoa! So a gate shatters when it wins a battle for the cost of stock closing 5. This card is insane. Instantly goes into the Yayoi deck. I love it. I need to pick up a couple now. I'll be going to Japan. I can pick up a couple. But yeah, no, that card immediately goes into Yayoi's deck, even if you don't play that many Suns. Memorial Rhapsody Ashley, level 3, cost 1. Everything else would cost 0 if you weren't sure, because like all of Ashley's cards, well, a lot of Ashley's cards have costs, and she's one of the only characters which have costs, which still pisses me off because Tamaki has a card that costs 1, and it makes me really mad because it's the TR. Put a total of 3 Ashley or Star from your drop zone on the bottom of your deck in any order. When this member is dropped from stock, and pay the cost. If you do, deploy this on a vacant circle. It's good. That's, yeah, it's a level 3 10k because all our stuff is up power because of the pay 1. And if you pay this out, you can bottom deck 3, so you stop decking out as much, and you just get this as basically a free plus. That's insane. And then pay 3 when this member attacks or defends. You can pay the cost to give it 3k power for the battle. Only works on itself, but that's fine. She has a summer unit that's pay 1, give power when any of your units attacks or defends, and it's 2k times the number of your units with soul. And it doesn't have to be a member with soul in battle. So this card's very strong. This card works really well with the rest of her cards. Thankfully, as someone who plays against Ashley, these cards are only 1 territory, because Ashley having 2 territory cards that are very high power is really tough in English, especially when you look at cards like Chloe, which has like, I think, a 12k base level 3, which is insane when it's on 2 territories. Because yeah, if it dies, then it's hard, right? Because if it dies, then oh, your opponent just has 2 gates to break, and then they can kill another character. But if it doesn't die, she's defending really well. Level 3 7k Yuko. Pay 2 when this member enters the field. Not by an ability, just when it enters the field. Synthesis X. X is the total number of Yuko and Sun. That's insane because it says Yuko or Sun. So yeah, I really like this card. In the Yuko deck, you just play it, pay 2, synthesis, like however much you need. Which is really relevant because she doesn't really have level 3s that synthesis 4, and her covenant doesn't reduce synthesis of level 4s, only 3 and lower. So being able to synthesis 4 at level 3 to nullify gate can be really useful. When your Yuko or Sun wins a battle, stock boost 1, choose a tactics in your drop zone, return it to your hand, and discard a card. That's her. Oh, that's her tool skill. Choose tactics in drop zone, return to hand, discard a card. That's fine. You'll probably play 2 of this in the deck, and if you need tactics, you can purge it with her level 1s. But yeah, the stock boost 1 is pretty relevant. I was having trouble with stocking in the Yuko deck with how it's at now. So having this is a great addition to the deck. Bubbly Idol, Yayoi, level 1, Covenanter with Yayoi or Sun. Choose one of your Yayoi or Sun, and for the turn that member gains 1. This member wins a battle. Choose a card in your drop zone, stock it, and stock open 2. Okay, you gotta stock and you stock open 2. That's fine. There's not much to say about it. It's just fine. It's probably very good in the Yayoi deck, but I don't think it's insane. Grasping the Heart Sugar. This is Ashley's Covenanter. Pay 1 when this is dropped from stock and you have 2 or more Ashley and Star. You deploy it. So, okay, yeah, this is just another plus. It's also good. When you're paying out stock, you can just get pluses and then trance again. I really like it. Let's keep going. Not much to say about these cards. They're just like good in their decks, and it's obvious to see why, because they lend themselves towards the original deck's abilities and powers. Flying into the Stand Sticks. Covenant with Yugor Sun. You give the deployed member when this wins a battle Synthesis 2, which is pretty good. And then choose one of your, so worst case scenario, you draw a card. Choose one of your members with the tool skill, and for the turn until end of the battle in which this member is participating, that member gains +2 aura. Sure. It's +2 aura, or yeah, it's just for the Covenant ability. The Covenant ability is pretty good. Yayoi. When your Yayoi or Sun wins a battle, stock open 2. Yes, absolutely yes. It's a level 3 8k, which is par. That's good. And every time your Yayoi or Sun wins a battle, stock open 2. Sometimes stock opening is really hard when you just mass stock close a bunch of stuff with cards. So this is super good for the Yayoi deck. I really like it. Star ability, once per turn, stock close 2, choose one of your Sun, gets 2k, then if your T ranked is 5 or more, it gets another 2k for the turn. Less relevant, give him 4k for the turn. Like, it can be relevant, but for the purpose of this card, it's really for that auto ability. Not once per turn, and every time it wins a battle, you stock open 2. I really like this card in the Yayoi deck for that first ability. Star ability can be relevant, sometimes you just need a boost of power. Overflowing Smile Ashley. Level 4 costs 7. Whoo, that's a big cost. This is really active in all zones if you have 3 or more star, or and your T rank is 5 or higher. -5 to the cost of this member. Probably won't happen in an Ashley deck, because 3 or more star probably won't happen that often. But this is a 13k base with 3 aura, and a 4/2 is absolutely worth it. If you're telling me you'll pay 7 for this in an Ashley deck, I believe you, but I really hope you don't. Logic Drive, pay 3, draw a card. This member gains 2k for the turn. Then, if your T rank is 5 or higher, this member gains 2 aura as well for the turn, of course. This is good mainly as a 13k 3 aura. It's basically like a TR, but not a TR. And you can just play it. You don't have to trance into it. And it's a 13k 3 aura. If you get, like, I'm sure this card is really good in the Star deck, but in the Ashley deck, that 7 will probably pay itself off eventually. But thank God this is not 2 territory. That's all I'm saying. Daylight Shower, Yuko, level 2, cost 0. TC, Yuko or Sun. When this member trances, choose one of your Yuko or Sun, and for the turn, give that member. When this member wins a battle, Synthesis 3. Ooh, that's pretty good. Choose a Yuko or Sun in your drop zone, return to your hand as a tool skill. Salvage 1. That's very good. Yeah, no, this card's great. The tool skill is relevant, so you can even play this in your tool deck. TC is good, and EXL 1 after it trances, you can give even the unit you trance into the ability that you sent 3 when it wins. That's good. I like it. I'm liking this a lot for the Yuko deck. Not used to the stage Yuko. When this member is placed to the battle zone, doesn't matter if it's from hand, top deck, whatever, If your member in battle is Yuko or Sun, you can pay the cost, which is pay 1, and you synthesis 1. So that's really relevant because in battle, this card ends up being pay 1, gain either another 5k or gain 2 aura, and it doesn't care where it doesn't care where it came from, which is the best part about this, because you have a lot of old stuff in the Try to Me sets that are like, when they get sent to the battle zone from your deck, give 2k, or pay 1, give another 5k. This card is amazingly higher than those. If your synthesis 1 in your deck that you chose is stock 3, oh, actually that might be synth 2, but I think it's synth 1. But if it is synth 2, then this entire sentence I'm about to say doesn't matter. But if it is synth 1, then you have a chance of playing that over 5k or 2 aura, which might not be worth it with cards like this in your deck. And then tool skill, choose one of your members, and for the turn until end of battle or until end of battle, gains 5k power. That's good. Yeah, I like it. Also when they say or until end of battle, that it means that it doesn't mean that like you choose until end of turn and every battle that's in it gets 5k. It means that whatever comes first, either the end of the turn or it actually battling, that's when it'll expire at the end of that. Covenant with Ashley, hard work Ashley. If you deploy an Ashley or Star, choose up to 2 of your Ashley or Star in your drop zone, stock them in any order, and then choose up to a total of 2 Ashley or Star in your drop zone and put them on bottom deck in any order. It's pretty cool. I like it. It's good. Ashley's other Covenanters from older sets let you pay out stock and then do it, which sometimes more useful because you get abilities from paying things out of stock. But this just being stock 2, bottom deck 2 is fine because Ashley can deck out pretty quickly if you're not careful, so shoving cards back is really useful. Languid Sexy Chipao. When this enters the field, if you have 3 or more Yayoi and Sun, stock open 2. Then if there's 3 or more face-up cards in your stock, choose one of your Yayoi or Sun that gains 3k for the turn. It's playable in the Yayoi deck. She needs more level 1s that do more stuff, so I can see me especially using this. Fantastic. Intermission. This ability is only active in your hand. Pay 1, discard this tactics. If you have a total of 3 or more Sun, Star, or Moon. Moon being relevant in the next set, which is... Wow, it was on the stream last night. I don't remember what it's called. Oh, God. Twinkle Moon Night, I want to say. But I'm really worried that I got it wrong. Anyway. Pay 1, ditch this tactics, draw 1, and then you get +1 trans limit. I want to use this in a deck that like, I'm not talking about the Sun, Star, Moon decks. That's not what this video is about. But in a character deck, if they have a lot of relevant Sun, Star, or Moon, this card can be really useful. And if they can get them on the board efficiently, this card is really useful because being able to trans again can be really good. Imagine if you use 2 of those and you're like, I would like to get 2 EX Soul 3s on board at the same time. Card's probably really insane with Olga's new support. He has all of the guys, Olga, Yoshchika, and Z-Card got 2 promos each with this set, and they're all Moon, so they're more than likely going to be in the next set, so don't worry about that. Pink Whirlwind Giselle. Oh god, a lot of text. How far can I scroll? Okay, let's just do that. Giselle level 4, 10k. When your other member enters the field via the ability of your Star, specifically, that's really upsetting. Drop the top 4 cards of your deck. Then if there's 3 or more Star dropped via this effect, the member that just entered the field gains 2k for the turn. Oh, this does not help Giselle at all. If she plays a ton of Star cards, sure, it helps Giselle. But what I mean is that it's not checking for Giselle at all. And that upsets me about the auto ability. EXO3 startup, pay 1. Not once per turn, so that's an interesting thing to note. Choose a total of 4 Giselle or Star in your drop zone, put them on the bottom of your deck in any order. This member gains 2k power, 1 aura for the turn. Then if your T rank is 5 or higher, this member additionally gains another 3k power and +1 limit. Then if 4 Giselle specifically, not Star, only Giselle, are put on the bottom of your deck via this via the cost of this ability, draw a card. Yeah, that okay, so for the auto ability, since it's a May, you just don't have to do it, which is fine. And this card will be played in Giselle for that AXL 3 because you bottom deck after milling a bunch and you get 5k power, 1 aura, 1 limit, and draw a card. Not once per turn. What? So if you just have a bunch of Giselles, you just start paying, shoving them all out, and then like gain a bunch of power and stuff, and that's really, really good. Wow. Flashy performance, my hero. When this enters the field, search your deck for up to 3 cards. Your opponent chooses one of them at random. You choose one of your gates and set the chosen card face down to that gate, and then it gets detonate. That's playable in My Hero. You just search your deck for either 3 copies of the same detonate, so it doesn't matter. And your opponent doesn't even get to see what you chose. It's just you choose 3 cards. Could be same detonate, could be different detonates, doesn't matter. And then when your card in the set state is turned face up, if that card is a foreigner or sun, choose one of your My Hero or sun, and that gains 1 aura. It's really good. So anytime anything explodes, even if it's a failure, as long as it's a sun, because if it's a foreigner, it's not a failure. But as long as it's a sun, which can be relevant because you could just play her other, like this card if you shove it under, or it gets RNG'd under, and it flips. You can just give a My Hero or Sun 1 aura for the turn. That's very, very good. And since they'll generally... okay, so if you force explode them on your turn, then you get a bunch of offensive power. But if your opponent runs into them, you get a lot of defensive power in aura battle, of course. But that first ability is the reason to use this card. My Hero's probably going to play this. Virtual Effect Aoi. TC Aoi or Star. Okay, so Aoi gets another... TC, EXL1, when this member trances, deploy up to 1 level X or lower Aoi or Star from your hand. Then if a member is deployed via this effect, draw a card. X is the number of cards in your level zone. So, when this trances, you can play an Aoi from your hand to draw a card. Seems good. It's really basic. It's still drawing off the effect of an Aoi, so it'll trigger all your other stuff, which is really relevant. This card is a good level 3, and it's 8k, because Aoi needs more level 3 8ks. No, she doesn't. Yes, already very good cards at level 3. When this member okay, so this is Giselle level 1. When this member intercepts, you may drop 3 cards from your deck. So mill 3. Then if 1 or more Giselle or Star are dropped from this effect, your member in battle gains 5k. 10k Interceptor. I've heard 10k Interceptors are good. At least that's what Tamaki tells me. But she also lets you draw after intercepting 10k. And if you have 12 gates, you can do it again. This card's good. It fuels your Giselles, which is useful. It's a 5k level 1, which is relevant. And it'll probably see play in Giselle decks. Non-stop My Hero, level 1. When this intercepts, if your member in battle is My Hero or Sun, that member gains 2k. And then if your T rank is 3 or higher, that member gains additionally 2 aura. So 7k power is really relevant because the 5k is normal, and then the 2k can nullify a paradox that was played. Like paradox, aura 2k paradox is very common, like very, very common in basically almost every deck, unless they play different special things. But this card is really strong just for that already. And then if you have T rank 3 or higher, which should be happening, especially in the late game when this is more relevant, that member usually gains 2 aura. Intercepting for 7k 2 aura is busted. That's insane. This card is great because you're not using a limit to be ahead in aura battle. Like what? This card's dumb. Aoi, level 2, 4k. Seems pretty bad. When this member enters field via the ability of your Aoi or Star, you pay the cost, which is pay 1, draw 1. Why did this not draw for free? Like, in Star, you can blink it a bunch, sure. in Aoi, you're calling it from your hand with abilities of your level 4s and 3s, but you have to pay one to draw. If this was free, I'd probably complain more just because I hate the Aoi deck. It's just annoying. And the fact that I pay one is probably really fair, but it's a level 2 4K. That's what I don't like about it. Ugh. Like, who wants to play level 2 4K? No one. That's level 1s. Level 3 Giselle 7K. Choose a total of 4 Giselle or start in your drop zone. Bottom deck them in any order. When this member attacks or defends, you may pay the cost. If so, for the battle, this gets 1 limit, and then you choose a Giselle or star in your drop zone, and then you put into your battle zone face up. That is actually really good. Sadly, it's only when this attacks or defends, so it doesn't work on your other cards, which I can understand why, but gaining +1 limit and choosing something from your drop zone, like this card on old like the underpowered tactics, I'll say, because the new tactics are freaking busted, but on the underpowered tactics, this costed 2 to gain like some sort of power and then something from your drop zone into battle zone. So this would normally cost 1, but this is for the cost of just shoving 4. This is good. It's very good. Unleash Emotions My Hero. Level 2, 6K. When your My Hero or Son wins a battle, choose one of your gates, RNG the top card of your deck face down to that, and give it detonate. And then Startup, drop a card in the set state, choose one of your My Hero or Son, that member gains 1 aura for the turn. Startup is good not for the 1 aura, it's good for the dropping a card in the set state. Wait, it doesn't flip it face up, never mind. It doesn't activate detonate. That's real bad. This is for the first ability, because it's every time your My Hero or Son wins a battle. So yeah, it's good. You just keep getting more detonates, which works you up to your TR pretty quickly. And then you can use it as fuel for other stuff. Oh, this has, okay, so this has the same dumb Vanguard ability as, whoa. Wait, can we just scroll properly? I really don't like the Vanguard ability down here, but we're gonna get past that. Covenant. Deploy up to 1 Aoi or star from your hand, and for the turn that give that deployed member at the start of your end phase, bounce it to your hand. So when you trance, you get to play something from your hand and you can put it back to your hand at the end of the turn. I can see it being useful, but I don't see it being that useful that it's better than Aoi's other cards. Hopping Rabbit Loda. When this enters a field, via effect or ability of your Aoi or star, choose one of your members. 1k times X power, X the total number of your Aoi or star. This is fine. Aoi's other Loda gives 1k whenever you draw. I think that's a bit better. But this is fine. I don't think you need that much power. She already gets a ton from the other stuff, but whatever. Konohana Sakuya. Covenant with Giselle. When you trance, you may drop the top 3 cards of your deck. Then if 2 or more Giselle or Star are dropped, choose a member of your drop zone and return your hand. This is good. You fuel your Giselle, and then you can salvage something you might need. You could salvage a foreigner, which is the hardest part about Giselle, is that since she keeps shoving Giselles back to the bottom, you won't always get you won't always refresh unless you force refresh. But then that also means that if your drop zone is barring Giselles, then it has a ton of foreigners that don't do anything, and this lets you grab them back and still fuel your Giselles. So I like this card a lot. I like it a lot. Black Charm Saren. This ability is only activated in the drop zone. Pay 2, put this member on the bottom of your deck when your My Hero Son wins a battle. If you can pay the cost. If you do, draw a card. That's fine. Pay 2 is a bit overcosted for that, but since it activates in the drop zone, it's fine. Detonate skill, choose one of your members. That member gains 1 aura. Then if the member's son, draw a card. Additional upside, if you use it on My Hero units that have the Sun trait. But yeah, this card's fine. Probably you won't see more than maybe 1 or 2, but it's still fine to play in the deck. You don't need it, in my opinion. Nature Performer. Should that not be Natural Performer? This ability is only active in your hand. Pay 1, discard this tactics, and you mill 4. Search your deck for up to 1 star TransUnion, reveal it, put it to your hand, shuffle your library. Why are you searching for your TransUnions? I guess if it's a TC, yeah, you can search for a TC and then trans with it, but Giselle might play this. She really wants to search things, but it's mainly for the mill. I don't know. I'm trying to make it sound better than it is. Go over that next week. And I think that's everything. Yeah, okay, so now we just have... Oh, I guess we can go over the gates. I don't know what gate number this is. I'm gonna guess it's a 19. On gate destruction, stock boost 2. Choose a foreigner in your drop zone with either sun, star, or moon deployed to the circle this gate is in. Till end of turn, give that member when this member trances... Oh, permanently. So, yeah, obviously it's permanently. It's a gate, so it has to work on your turn after. When this member trances for the turn, you get +1 to your trans limit. This can be really good because the stock boost 2 is really good, and then, like, in any of the decks, especially, like, the fact that this deploys a foreigner from drop zone, useful in Giselle, useful in Magico, useful in a lot of other decks. Those two are the main ones because Giselle's milling them, and like I said, the problem with Giselle is that she can't recur foreigners easily, and with Magico you can just grab back stuff, and then when it trances you get +1 to your trans limit, like that trans change limit rather. That's really relevant for all of the decks. If your deck even has a chance to play Sunstar or Moon and it has a decent number, like I'd probably say like, okay, so your foreigner has to be the one with it. So Magico might not want to just because her foreigner is Thanatos and she'll only play like 2 of it. But Giselle, I can see playing 4 of that Konohana Sakuya. So with those, if you do get this off, it's really good. I'm probably willing to risk that in a Magico deck of this just being a worse 1 gate for the chance of getting a +1 trans limit, because that can shift the game really hard. This is the other gate. I'm guessing this is 20 gate. Stock boost 2, choose a foreigner in your drop zone with either Sun, Star, or Moon, deploy it. Oh no, this is the same thing. What? Oh, is there only... Okay, yeah, it looks like there's only one, the 19 gate, and it has multiple arts. Thought there was a 20 gate. Maybe it's in the next set, but yeah, overall the set looks really interesting. Looking at the just first glimpse at it and seeing the other ways that Star and Sun can work together makes me think that will be really interesting for next week, seeing how the deck works together and stuff like that. But as a pure support set, I think it did a really good job. It lent itself the problem with the Somerset last time was that most of the Somerset cards were working solely for the Somerset and didn't really support its original deck as much. And then this one has a lot more relevant abilities that lean towards it. Like every character, I think every character I saw had at least one relevant card to their deck. So that's a really good use for this and why it works. I think I'll have a lot of fun adding this to the decks I play. So my Yayoi, my Yuko, my Lion, and my Magico will all enjoy getting stuff from this set. And I really hope they do as good of a job with Twinkle Moon Knight. If they do, then characters like Sieg, Yoshika, and Olga, who haven't gotten support in so long, are going to be very strong forces to deal with. If you're curious about what their promos do, I'll tackle it in the video where I talk about the Sun and Star decks, just because they're moon cards, but they can still be useful in these decks because there are paradoxes that affect all 3 traits. So yeah. Anyway, that was the video, guys. It ran kind of long. I'll just post this up at one video. It's almost an hour, but yeah, it's fine. Yeah, this set looks cool. If you guys aren't part of the Facebook group, please join it. North America Luck and Logic. I got all these translations from hardthecards.com. Their website is really user-friendly. You saw me go through all the cards just straight on their site. Hopefully it's not a big issue with them. If it is, then I'll talk to them about it. There are deck lists for Japanese and English up on the respective sites. All of my Magico deck lists that have topped in the English regionals are there, all 3 versions of it. I will be going to Worlds in January 18, so hopefully I'll be able to either record a podcast or take some videos there and post it up. But yeah, until next time, guys, this was the Red Logicalist. Oh, also, very big shout out to my friend who did the art at the beginning of the video. She knows who she is, and I'm super grateful. So, see you guys.